Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, for this Nintendo News Minute. And there's some good stuff. And I do apologize, guys, for the we missed yesterday because I had another project that I was way too busy. I could not stop, and I literally worked all day long. So I do apologize, but we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. And of course, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok coming very soon. We will be live on Kick as well. The account is set up if you guys want to follow over there. So I see Servant is here. Says, is this the guy from TikTok? It is. Becca is here as well. Welcome on in. Good to see you guys. And we're going to start off with the Nintendo download for the 29th of June in North America. Now, this is the email that goes out every Thursday morning, usually while I'm at the gym, and we get to see what games are going to be coming to the Switch this week, sometimes next, and sometimes some previous games as well. I see Joe is here. Welcome. Good to see you. So first up, you guys, Everybody Won to Switch. If you are in Australia, you may be already playing this one. And this is what it says here. Laugh it up at your next game night. Whether you're summoning aliens or snapping colorful photos with your phone's camera, mix up your next get-together with Everybody Won to Switch game. Grab some Joy-Con controllers or a bunch of smart devices for team-based games that are easy to set up with the help of your host, Horus. Get moving with 2 to 100 players and compete to see which team can win a certain number of games first. The Everybody Won to Switch game will be available on June 30th. Next up, we have Master Detective Archives Raincode. This is from Spike Chunsoft, and it says, and it's $59.99. So this is a $60 full release game, full price game. And it says, enter the mysterious labyrinth of this offbeat puzzle solving experience. The city of Rain, under the complete control of a mega corporation, is gripped by innumerable unsolved mysteries. Master detectives from around the world, each possessing unique powers, must rise to the challenge of uncovering the truth. Play as Yuma, a detective in training, accompanied by Shinigami, the spirit haunting him. As you delve into the ever-changing realm and get to the heart of the case, Master Detective Archives Raincode launches on the Switch on June 30th. We also have Ghost Trick, the Phantom Detective from Capcom. This is also June 30th. It is $29.99. It says the time-bending murder mystery Ghost Trick returns in HD. After kicking the bucket and becoming a ghost, you acquire the ability to possess and control objects, uncover Cecil's unknown past, and help unravel mysteries that occurred that fateful night. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective Spirits on to Nintendo Switch June 30th. We also have Crime O'Clock, which is coming out the 30th and is $19.99. It says there's no time to waste in this puzzle exploration game. You've got over 40 cases to solve across time and space, spanning eras from the Lost Ages to cybernetic future. In each era, you'll see how crime scenes develop for different time ticks and how taking action in one era can change the events in another. By traveling through time, meeting characters, and resolving each case, your map will change and more adventures will be unlocked. Set your alarms to Crime O'Clock when it launches on the Nintendo Switch June 30th. This copy is hilarious. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's pretty funny. Like, especially the way that they're ending each of these lines, you know. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective Spirits onto Nintendo Switch. You set your alarms to Crime O'Clock. Like, it's so corny, but I kind of am here for it, honestly. Last up, the Lara Croft Collection. $24.99. It says leap into the fast-paced arcade combat puzzle pack platforming of 2 outstanding adventures for Tomb Raiders. Of 4 Tomb Raiders of all abilities, whether it's on your own or local co-op with up to 4 friends. Penetrate dense jungles and navigate elaborate Aztec ruins in Lara Croft, the Guardian of Light, and investigate the cursed tombs of ancient pharaohs in Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Blast through hordes of supernatural foes, overcome intricate challenge tombs, beat high scores, and equip yourself with a massive arsenal of unlockable weapons, equipment, and magical artifacts. Start your adventure today. And that is actually out today. So if you guys are looking to pick that one up, it is available today. From there are a number of eShop games which one really has my attention, you guys. And we're going to go check out the review also. To be perfectly honest, there's a handful that have my attention, but the main one is AEW Fight Forever. Now, why does this have my attention? Well, it's who it's been developed by. So if you played any of the good wrestling games on the Nintendo 64, you're very familiar with this developer. So it says developed by Ukes Co. Ltd., which that's important. Creators of numerous multi-million unit selling wrestling games. And they can't even say what they are because they're of the name WWF, right? AEW Fight Forever combines arcade wrestling game feel with innovative All Elite wrestling finishers and tandem offensive moves. The All Elite wrestling promotion is currently taking TNT and TBS networks by storm every week with their rampage of dynamite shows featuring some of the biggest legends to enter the ring, plus a stable of brand new high-flying AEW talent. AEW Fight Forever brings more than 50 of the best from the talent roster together in one game. Online co-op wrestling is going completely next level in Fight Forever with tag team matches that feature sequences of team maneuvers performed with simple commands. More than 10 different game modes, including unsanctioned lights out and falls count anywhere, plus more than 40 weapons, deep customization, career mode, minigames, all await you in AEW Fight Forever. We're going to head over to the review in just a second, but there's one other game worth noting. And this game was one of those games that was kind of controversial when it came out. And it's from the Arcade Archives, and it's Splatterhouse. And this Splatterhouse is an action game released by Namco in 1988. Take control of the hero Rick and use the power of the spirit in your mask to make your way through the cursed mansion to rescue your girlfriend, Jennifer. Fight off merciless monsters to get out of the haunted mansion alive. The Arcade Archive series has faithfully reproduced many classic arcade masterpieces. I'm going to click this just to see if we can see if they have anything, and they don't. So you essentially play as a character that looks like Jason from Friday the 13th, and you're armed with a 2x4, and you wreak some serious havoc. And yeah, it's pretty good. This might be one I throw in my collection because it was one of the forbidden games I wasn't allowed to play as a kid. So I may snag this one. But let's head over to I want to check out the review from Nintendo Life and see what they have to say about AEW. And fingers crossed, you guys, I hope this is good. So taking a look here, I'm just gonna scroll to the very bottom and see what it says. It got a 7 out of 10. Okay. It got a 7 out of 10. And I'm going to read you guys the conclusion. Let's see what they say. As a self-proclaimed spiritual successor to WWF No Mercy, AEW had big wrestling boots to fill. While it doesn't quite surpass THQ's classic N64 grappler, that's just such a bummer in terms of pure gameplay, it nevertheless is a highly entertaining wrestling title with a pleasantly silly story mode and some frankly ridiculous weapons heavy match types. Performance on the Switch leaves a lot to be desired, but it's still the best wrestling game on the system now. Couple of the joys and the cons. I love what they do here. So solid fast-paced combat system, some ridiculous match types and weapon options. Story mode is short but entertaining. Its No Mercy inspiration is clear. Love that. Cons. Switch version has very distracting pauses at times. Only 4 wrestlers on screen at once. No Mercy fans will moan that it doesn't feel quite the same. That's tough. That's tough because I think all of us have been waiting a very long time for somebody to fill the shoes of No Mercy. So I am going to tell you guys I will pick this up. I'll pick it up probably on Switch and on Xbox just to be able to test it out and let you know my thoughts, and maybe get some matches with you. Who knows? So kind of cool to see that this that Ukes is still putting out another wrestling game, and like they said, it's the best wrestling game on the Switch. Let me know if you pick it up. I'm curious. Moving on, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has a new update, and it is not really a very big one. Not much to note. There might be something that data miners can find. A few things from the patch notes. It says mechanic adjustments have been made for upcoming live tournaments. So that's kind of cool. And then it says this patch includes a variety of bug fixes and focuses on a variety of changes for live tournaments that are held, such as the international championships. It also features a change for the ability Illuminate, where it now prevents the user's accuracy from being lowered. So making a few little adjustments in the what seems like the competitive side of things with tournaments, and that's a good thing. That nothing wrong with that. Now I know what we're all hoping for is we want some news on when the DLC is dropping, because we want to jump back in to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and keep catching them all, right? Experience those new areas, which I assume are going to be this fall, and I'm looking forward to them. Unlike Nightcrawler. And I do want to say what's up to everybody over on TikTok. I see Tyler and It's Gray and Juan. Thank you for the gifts. I really do appreciate it. Okay, before we jump into kind of the two big news pieces, lastly, last night the Sega Genesis got some more games on Nintendo Switch Online, which included Ghouls and Ghosts, which is classic and a lot of fun. Crusader of Senti, I think is how you say it. Landstalker, and one of my favorite series on the Genesis is Shinobi, and we got Revenge of Shinobi available to play on the Switch now. So let's take a quick trip down memory lane and talk about what each of these games are. The Revenge of Shinobi is nothing to take lightly, especially when this ninja packs a brutal arsenal of shurikens and ninjutsu skills. A sequel to Sega's classic arcade game, this action side-scroller plunges you into the role of Joe Musashi as he stalks and attempts to annihilate, if you're up to the task, the evil Neo Zed criminal network. Have faith, the power of the ninja is strong. Ghouls and Ghosts beset you with marauding demons, Sith-wielding skeletons, sickle weasels, and evil prints that crawl from beneath the mud. You must fend them off to defend the kingdom and manage to do it without losing your shirt in the process, or in Arthur's case, his suit of armor. Plus, keep your eyes peeled for the tough-as-nails enemies that also stars in Gargoyle's Quest, the spin-off tale, playable in the Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online library. So that's kind of cool. A little cross pollinating there between Ghouls and Ghosts and Gargoyle's Quest. Landstalker is the name, and lighthearted treasure hunting is the game. Nigel, the forest elf, faces more delightful puzzles in this action adventure than you can shake a custom forged broadsword at. Journey through a fantastical realm while navigating intricate isometric mazes that bring you ever closer to the secret of King Noel's riches. And then Crusader of Century tasks you with launching your razor-sharp weapon like a blazing boomerang. Slice, it says, all caps, slice. Take down those invading monsters with perfectly timed swinging in this sweeping action RPG featuring fierce enemies and a variety of towering bosses. Animal companions with special abilities, time travel, and a world of sorcery and intrigue to explore. So there you go. And it looks like they do have a link, because I was curious. And Crusader of Century is essentially Sega's answer to Zelda. So if you're looking for a Zelda-like game to play, you now have another one on your you now have another one on the Switch. And Hoffman says Sega out here giving Nintendo the best games on the expansion pass. So there you go. Yo, and I see Hoffman over on TikTok doing some gifts as well. Thank you so much for that, my friend. I do appreciate you. And I had a feeling when I saw this drop that Hoffman would be excited about seeing new games on the Sega side of things. So let's get into the big news stories, you guys. So there is the FTC and Xbox and Sony. They're all in court right now. They are fighting things out, trying to get this Activision Blizzard deal done so that Microsoft can essentially purchase Activision Blizzard and have control of all those games. And it's a big deal. It's a massive deal, like $69 billion. And there's been people that are able to hear these hearings, and there's tweets going out, and there's leaked information that like was supposed to be redacted, that like Sony put out yesterday, and they literally took a Sharpie and then scanned things in, and you could see through what was supposed to be redacted. And so information went out that was not supposed to go out, and the court has actually thrown out those documents, but they're already floating online. So it's like it's such a strange time. And the crazy thing is, this reminds me of what Nintendo and Sega went through years ago with Mortal Kombat. Now, they weren't purchasing anything, but there was big court cases and trying to get into, how much should video games be regulated similar to movies, and when the ESRB got created, and the conversations and how heated everything was. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, check out Console Wars. It's an incredible book. It's also a short series on Paramount Plus, if you want to kind of get just an understanding of what went on during that time. And when it comes to the business side, guys, it's cutthroat and brutal. I see more gifts over on TikTok. Thank you so much, Hoffman, for that. I appreciate you. And this is just the same. This is just the same. There are all kinds of conversations happening that, and sometimes they're not very pleasant, because that's just the way business is. But one of the things that was brought up during these hearings is that the Activision boss admits not bringing Call of Duty to Switch was a mistake, and he admits that he initially thought the system wouldn't sell. After 7 years, almost 7 years, you don't remedy that? You don't do anything to try to put the game on Switch? Not even a remake of like Call of Duty 4? It's kind of odd, honestly, seeing all these millions of units out in the wild, and you don't think to change it up, putting games like Diablo and Overwatch, but not your biggest franchise, Call of Duty. Seems weird. So according to the article here, it says Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick has admitted that he made a big mistake ignoring the Nintendo Switch at launch. He confessed that when he first saw the prototype of the platform by Nintendo, he didn't believe the console would perform well in sales, and with foresight says it was a bad decision on his part. As we all know, the Nintendo Switch predecessor, the ill-fated Wii U, wasn't a hit with the general public, despite having some great first-party games. Mr. Kotick says that he is open to bringing Call of Duty to a new Nintendo platform. So these are tweets from Derek Strickland, and there's different people in the courtroom asking these questions, whether it be lawyers. I'm assuming, Corley, it says you would like to be able to put COD on the Nintendo Switch, and Kotick says I think we would consider it. And Derek tweets, big testimony from Bobby Kotick. He indicates that not bringing COD to Switch was a mistake, that he's open to bringing COD to a new Nintendo platform, and that Activision games can indeed come to subscription and cloud if the commercial offer is sufficient. And then Benji Sales says, Bobby Kotick says he made a bad prediction for the Switch, said when he saw the prototype for the platform, he thought the console wouldn't perform well in sales, said it was a bad decision on his part not to support it more. So, and I mean, we've been clamoring for Call of Duty on the Switch. I have anyway, and I know other people have as well. I don't think, when we say that, I don't think it's necessarily like bring us the exact games that are on Xbox and PlayStation. We don't want the dumbed down versions. There is a history of Call of Duty games where the OG Xbox got a different game than the 360, but they were still both getting games. The Wii in some cases got a different game. Oh, it just played entirely different. We both got World at War, but it was not the same game. It was more of a lesser version, which we don't want that personally. Like, they could probably put a Switch specific COD game out, even if it was a COD collection, something that was more of the older games that had online capabilities for multiplayer. I think it would do very well on the Switch, and that would be probably the low hanging fruit for them to go that direction. And who knows, maybe at the launch of the next system, we see something like that gets them to dipping their toe into the Switch. And we've seen other companies have great success with remakes and ports, such as a Square Enix with a number of games, some really old, some newer games. And also Ubisoft bringing games like Assassin's Creed, and so there's definitely space on the Switch for Call of Duty. And when we get into we get into NPC Live, our question for today is going to be, what other games have missed the Switch that we really think should have been there? I mean, just off the top of my head, I immediately think Madden, but when the Switch first launched, everybody said put everything on the Switch, right? And so we're gonna kind of dig into what games do we think should have been there that were not, and what we would like to see on the next console also. So lastly, Activision Blizzard CEO apparently says the next Nintendo system is close to PS4 and Xbox One power wise, which this is to me, I think this is good news. I saw a handful of people saying otherwise. Now, it is worth noting that when this was initially brought up, I think My Nintendo News actually it was Nintendo Everything. They posted this story and then pulled it down. So this is, of course, grain of salt, right? It's just counted as a rumor, but from the hearing, this is what was said. So Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick has spilled the beans about the graphical fidelity of the next Nintendo console during the Activision Blizzard deal FTC hearing. Speaking to the court about Call of Duty and other topics, he revealed that the successor to the incredibly popular Nintendo Switch system is close to Generation 8 in terms of power. Generation 8 consists of Sony's PlayStation 4 and Microsoft's Xbox One console. Nintendo themselves have yet to reveal any information about the Switch successor other than it will use Nintendo accounts to make the transition smoother. I just wonder if Nintendo is out here going, yo, guys, can you not? can you not, please? Because they're still trying to move Switches, right? Up until the point they make this announcement. But what do we think about this system being this, close to Gen 8 in power? We're talking potentially, we don't know anything, but potentially a Nintendo Switch 2, which is what I'm saying they should do. Just call it the sequel, right? So you have the tablet that's as powerful as a PS4 or the Xbox One. Anybody in chat, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're over on TikTok and you want to throw an answer out there, what do you think? Do you think it's strong enough? Personally, I think this is the play. Okay? I think this is the play. Get the Switch at least to those levels. Now, current gen, Xbox, they've said we're leaving behind the Xbox One. It's going to need cloud you're going to have to play the games on cloud if you want to play them. They're no longer going to be developing with all three of their consoles in mind. So Joe says maybe this new Switch does have the power and it will be able to hold Animal Crossing New Horizons and all my other Switch games and all the new ones. Well, I mean, just upgrade that SD card and you can hold as many games as you want. And Joe also says it better be strong enough. And I mean, I think Xbox One and PlayStation 4 level graphics on handheld, I think that's excellent, right? I think we've seen the limitations of the Switch for a very long time. We know some games have run somewhat poorly. Some games have run okay, but kind of looked muddy. And I think having a system that is as powerful as the PS4 or the Xbox One is getting there. Some comments I've seen, like over on Reddit and from other people or Twitter, they were not happy about this. They wanted a much more powerful machine. But we know Nintendo's business model is to sell their consoles at a profit. And the only way that's happening is to sell old technology. There's no other way around it. The Switch was a 3-year-old Fire tablet before it even launched. and look at the massive success. They can keep the price relatively low. They can also bump up the horsepower. And when it comes to games like, we're seeing Splatoon on the screen here, Mario Kart, Smash, my only request is that if we can get these games on there, get your internet working better, like get the netcode fixed. That's, to me, somewhat a bigger issue with some of these Nintendo staples than the graphics are. A lot of times the graphics aren't that big a deal to me. And I know some people, like, I have a lot of friends who they're like, everything needs to be 4K 120, and I'm like, I don't see it that way personally. I don't think the Switch needs to be there, especially in handheld. Like, if we get something that's a 1080p and it does a solid 60 for most of the games, that's a huge win. And I think that's good enough. Maybe that's the fanboy in me speaking. I don't know if that's the case, but I do think that having the power of the Xbox One or the PS4 in the palm of our hand is a step in the right direction. It also gives them the opportunity. Maybe this next generation they also do a pro model. So the Switch 2 comes out. It's much more. It's more powerful than the OG Switch. It's close to Gen 8, and then maybe a Switch Pro happens a little bit further down the line. That is not so much of a leap from the next Switch that's coming out, and then that allows for even even higher fidelity gaming. I don't know. I don't know how they'll go. Nintendo is they're magicians when it comes to their console and making things run and making things look great. And as we saw from the AEW review earlier in the show, not everyone else is. It's not always as smooth as possible. And you've got entire companies that are just built for compressing and in some cases just getting games onto the Switch. We look at games like Doom and Fortnite and Apex and a number of other games that we didn't. The Witcher. They were shocked. It was shocking to see some of these games make their way onto the Switch, but it did it. Not always perfect, but it did it did work. So it'll be nice. The thing that I wonder about is how will it still put Nintendo pretty far behind what potential third party games could be releasing, right? Because we talked about Call of Duty in the last segment. Would a Gen 8 level system be able to run the next Call of Duty that's coming out? And I don't know if that'll be the case. I question if that'll be the case. So over on YouTube says, usually I don't mind graphics, but the OLED LG upscaling and 120 FPS on Tears of the Kingdom makes the game feel better and run smoother. So there you go. That was from Dadu Rams. And I mean, I play all my Switch games upscaled to 4K. Like I've had the M Classic, which you guys can find over on my Amazon store, n64josh.com/Amazon, and you'll find it in there. It has been upscaling my Switch since it came out, and I absolutely love it. So I get it. There's not often I see the Switch at lower than 4K when I'm playing, when I'm streaming or playing in my office. So hopefully the dock will play a factor with the next system. What's interesting is they mention that there is a next system coming out and that it's up to Gen 8 level power, but they don't say anything about if it's going to be another tablet similar to the Switch. I can't imagine Nintendo going any other way. I think they will stick with the ability to sell multiple pieces of hardware. Think about the Switch business wise. Not only are you selling the Switch, but you can sell Joy-Cons, you can sell Pro controllers. There's so many there's more hardware pieces that are available due to a system like this, which ultimately means more money in Nintendo's pocket. So I don't know that they leave this they leave this arena for a while, and we see at least another console life cycle with a similar. So, and I think at that point we're all going to be so used to being able to take the Switch on the go. I don't know that Nintendo can ever walk away from it. I'm not sure that they can. And I kind of hope they don't, because it's kind of my favorite thing, being able to, travel on a train or anything like that, um, and be able to play the games I would typically only play on my screen, on my TV. I love that. So this has been your Nintendo News Minute for June 29th. Thank you guys if you're here live. I really do appreciate you. We'll be back in just a few minutes for NPC Live, where we're going to be talking about which games missed the Switch that we wished were there. Thank you so much for everything, and we will see you in the next one. Bye now.